All right, welcome to the Ultimate Explainer Crash Course. We're about to take you from absolute zero to literally scoring full marks on your professional communication exam. Look, I know studying for this can feel completely overwhelming. There are just so many definitions, so many unspoken rules, but hey, don't worry. We're going to break down every single concept you need to know, and we are not leaving a single topic behind. By the time we finish this explainer, you're going to have the exact mental frameworks you need to walk into that exam room and totally crush it. So, let's just dive right in.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to tackle 5 core modules, starting with the unspoken rules of nonverbal communication, then the mechanics of writing, perfecting professional emails, winning resumes and cover letters, and we'll wrap the whole thing up by understanding communication channels.
Okay, let's get into Section 1, our Nonverbal Communication Masterclass. We're looking at the hidden, unspoken rules of how we interact. And trust me, examiners absolutely love testing this stuff. You really want to memorize this quote by management legend Peter Drucker. He said, "The most important thing in communication is to hear what is not being said." If you get an exam question asking about the primary driver of understanding, remember Drucker. He's basically saying that environmental cues and body language actually carry way more weight than the actual words coming out of our mouths.
To really lock this into your brain, let's break down Albert Mehrabian's famous rule. This is highly testable, so pay attention. A whopping 55% of communication is entirely visual. We're talking posture and gestures here. Then 38% is vocal, so your tone, your pitch, your pauses. And get this, only a tiny 7% relies on the actual verbal words you speak. Our sources also mention another researcher, Birdwistell, who figured that spoken words make up no more than 30 to 35% of our interactions. The big takeaway for your exam, the vast majority of social meaning, is totally nonverbal.
Now, you will absolutely need to know these 7 distinct types of nonverbal communication for the multiple choice section. Let's run through them super quick. Kinetics is body movement. Paralanguage is your vocal tone. Proxemics is how you use physical space. Haptics is touch, like a solid handshake. Oculesics is all about eye contact. Chronemics is how we use time. Like being deliberately late to show you're the boss. And artifacts are the clothes and accessories that signal status. Make sure you can recognize every single one of these. Now let's zoom in on kinetics because it's a big one. Kinesics is literally the study of posture, gestures, and facial expressions. It's how your body talks without making a sound. Just notice how a shift from slouching to sitting up straight completely changes the unspoken message. For the exam, you've got to know its 3 main functions: replacing spoken messages, sending comfortable or uncomfortable messages, and reinforcing verbal ones. Oh, and here's a fun little exam tip from the sources. Rubbing your chin signals thinking, but rubbing your eyes, that signals you're tired. All right, moving right along to Section 2, the mechanics of writing. Let's see how these basics build the foundation for professional correspondence.
If you want to breeze through the mechanics questions, just remember the core principles. First, always adapt to your reader. Second, select the right words. And what does that mean? It means words that are familiar, concise, simple, and unbiased. For instance, just say use instead of utilize. Keep it simple. Also, avoid foreign phrases and focus on constructing solid sentences. Actually, here is a fantastic piece of exam trivia. If a word has variant spellings that are both correct, like canceled with 1 L or 2, always use the shorter spelling.
Consider this your ultimate cheat sheet for paragraph structures. You have to memorize these 5 types, because matching the definition to the paragraph type is practically a guaranteed question. A narrative paragraph tells a story. Argumentative tries to persuade you. Descriptive, well, describes something. Expository explains or gives info. And analytical breaks down info to draw conclusions. Want a quick cheat code? Look for the verbs in the exam prompt. If it asks you to evaluate or assess, the answer is analytical. If it says depict, it's descriptive. Boom, easy points.
Okay, let's jump into Section 3, perfecting professional emails, and see how we apply those exact writing mechanics to the business world's most common document.
A super important definition here is email etiquette, the golden rule. Think before you type, draft it, then redraft it. We've all gotten those annoying, vague emails with a blank subject line, right? Don't be that person. Etiquette demands a clear subject line summarizing the whole thing. Use keywords like request or update. You also need the right salutation based on corporate hierarchy. If it's a peer, dear plus their first name works. But for higher-ups, you are expected to use their formal job title or last name.
For the test, burn this keep doing checklist into your brain. Keep emails focused. Use a professional tone. Always proofread. but pay super close attention to these rules. You must aim to reply within a strict 24 to 48-hour window, avoid slang completely, minimize the personal chat, and listen to me on this one. There is a strict, absolute ban on emoticons. Save the smiley faces for your group chats. They have zero place in a formal business email.
And on the flip side, you absolutely must avoid excessive capitalization. It's such a common trap. But in the digital world, typing in all caps is universally interpreted as screaming at someone. It comes off super aggressive. Just skip it entirely.
Next up, Section 4, Winning Resumes and Cover Letters. Let's break down the 2 documents that are actually going to launch your career.
Examiners are obsessed with testing the difference between these two. Remember this one fundamental truth. A resume does not get you a job. A resume gets you an interview. That's literally its only purpose. The cover letter is the wingman to your resume. It's your persuasive sales pitch explaining exactly why you are the absolute best person for the job, giving them a feel for who you are as a professional.
When it comes to resume questions, knowing what to leave out is just as important as knowing what to put in. Never state your salary requirements. Save that negotiation for later. Avoid listing geographical limits unless you have to, because you might filter yourself right out of a remote job. Omit any negative information about past jobs. Obviously, check your grammar. And please, avoid wild colors and crazy infographics. Keep it clean, simple, and focused on getting that interview.
Finally, we've reached Section 5, Understanding Communication Channels. We're zooming out to see how all these messages actually flow through an entire organization.
You absolutely need to be able to contrast formal and informal networks. The formal network is vertical or horizontal. It rigidly follows the official chain of command. But the informal network, that's what textbooks call the grapevine. It moves totally free in any direction, completely skipping the hierarchy. Why? Because it satisfies the social and emotional needs of the team. And surprisingly, it can actually help get tasks done faster.
Take a mental snapshot of how formal communication flows. It moves rigidly, step by step down the hierarchy, from the board to the managing director, down to the manager, and so on. Also notice horizontal communication. That only happens back and forth between peers at the exact same level, like 2 supervisors chatting.
Let's zero in on one specific direction you'll see on the exam. When a manager gives an instruction to an assistant manager, that's called downward communication. It flows from superiors to subordinates, and it is highly directive. Its whole job is to assign goals and give instructions. If the report was going back up to the boss, that would be upward communication. But downward is all about giving direction.
Wow, okay, we've covered a ton of ground today. From that 55% visual communication stat in Mehrabian's rule, all the way to the rigid structure of downward communication. You now have the complete 0 to 100 blueprint for this exam. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to ask yourself, which of these frameworks are you going to review first tonight to guarantee that perfect score? Are you going to master those nonverbal kinesics or memorize the formal corporate channels? Keep reviewing, stay confident, and you are going to absolutely crush this test.